reason I'm biting my fingernail is because this is one of those videos that will get me into trouble, but I gotta do it. Okay, so subscribe. A word to the wise, to those of us who enjoy notoriety, because either we're musicians, we are TV stars or radio stars, or, hang out in the blogosphere. Politics is not the same thing. The numbers don't convert one for one. Let me just walk back into my own life as a broadcaster. At the very height of my career, I commanded, and you can ask Ipsos this because Synovate has the numbers, I commanded a 45% share of the morning market in radio. That's huge. And probably an equivalent amount in revenue. I'm gangster, I'm just pretty, but I'm gangster. But there is no day you're going to tell me that because that exists, it's possible to become successful politically. It takes a different mindset, a different set of skills, and also a different kind of know-how. For every person who asks me when I was on radio, why won't you run? For what? So that I can do what exactly? When you've got 4 hours every day of prime time media, what is it exactly you cannot do with that you think you're going to do in a political space? There isn't a politician anywhere who's ever enjoyed the same amount of physical airtime that I've gotten without paying for it. The reason Mike Sonko has been a conversation for the last couple of days is that he enjoyed 45 minutes of uninterrupted media. And then, because the nature of media today is not what it was like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there's earned media. So there, of course, there's word of mouth, and then it went viral and that. You cannot wake up and stop being a musician, a radio presenter, I don't know, a TV host, and assume because you have a certain amount of notoriety that that's just going to translate into votes. We consume media subjectively. And if you think that's stupid, add the fact that the way we make political decisions is emotional and irrational. It just compounds the problem. So you seem to think because every text that comes through and every SMS and tweet says, I love you, you're my role model, that translates into votes at the ballot. It doesn't. And I already said it earlier, so I'll repeat it again. Politics is irrational and emotional. It's not logical. If it was, Trump wouldn't be president. And that is a mature democracy that goofed. And now we can say it big time. When you sit there and you think that your fan base owes you, you need to ask yourself, just because I trust you to entertain me, does it automatically mean that I trust you to lead me? Do I see you in both spaces in my life? And the sad thing about people who enjoy fame and notoriety, who then run for political office and lose, is they turn around and say, the system is rigged, Kenyans don't know what they want, da-da-da. The question is not us, the voter. The question is you and what's your conversation, what you're bringing to the table. I cannot be a politician. I will never go into public office. And I say this because I've bothered to interrogate this monster. I said this before and I'll say it again. I have 2 referendums and 4 elections under my belt. This thing is not easy. Let me put it this way. For this very same reason, entertaining as Mike Sonko is, he could never be a good radio host. You can take him in 15-minute bursts, but if literally he was in your ears for 4 hours, you would lose your mind. It's the same reason I can never be in politics, because I can't do 10-second bursts of vitriol and eruption of emotion and political rhetoric. I can't. because my psyche is not there. Going into politics is a skill and an art. And if the only thing you got going for you is your notoriety, your ass is going to get kicked in Eldama Ravine by a guy who can barely string English words together. If the only thing you got going for you is how many people tell you how awesome you are on digital platforms or on Instagram and how many double taps you get, your butt will be paddled by a guy who's A-high with crooked teeth in Kilifi. I think it's very important before you go into that political space, you study the monster. And sit with a few people who tell you how this game is played and take what they tell you seriously. Listening only to the voices that you love to tell you how hot you are is how you end up with 200 votes on election day. Okay. Be very careful about thinking you can translate fame into political votes. There's other pieces that need to be built on that, and some of them are not pretty. So good luck, but don't say I didn't warn you. Okay? Yeah. Subscribe.